Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. I'm going to show you in this tutorial how to make this hexagon. There are two things you can do with this. It finishes here with a nice circle and a row here of double crochet in the UK or single US, which finishes it off quite nicely as a circle. So you can use it as a coaster pattern, or you can carry on and make it into this hexagon. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook, and I'm using a Susan Bates one at the moment because I'm reviewing them, and this is a Susan Bates detachable grip because they are quite slim, and so I'm trialing them as well at the moment. So I'm also going to be using some 3-weight DK yarn, and these are just all offcuts and sort of bits and pieces left over from projects, so just stash buster project really for now. But if you wanted to make it into something, then that's no problem. You could always make it into a blanket or something like that. But these are all kind of different yarns, but I've been quite careful to match them up size wise. I think this one was a sheep's yarn, and this one, the white and the pink, were signet yarn. They're very soft signet, some are not. I'm not really sure what this one was or this one, but this one I know was a sheep's, is lovely and soft. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You can use any colour scheme that you like, but I'm calling this my Sunshine Hexagon because the little centrepiece looks a bit like a sun that you would draw when you were young. So I'm going to show you how to do that now, and I'm going to make a start with this very pale yellow colour. It doesn't look yellow, but if you put it up to the white, you can see that it is a very pale lemon. Very, very pale. And you'll also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. Although with this one of the bonuses of it, you can actually work over a lot of the ends, which is a bit of a bonus. So for this centre, I've made it in this colourway as well. I was practicing. This is not the one that I ended up with. This was the one that I ended up with, but this was my practice along the way. But for this centrepiece, I'm going to use the magic loop, magic ring, whatever. Some people call it magic circle. It's all kind of names, but magic nonetheless. So my way is nice and easy. You just make a loop like this, insert your hook and pull the yarn through it, and then you've done it. That is it. And so all you need to do now is to chain 2 to get up to the right height for a UK treble crochet, which is a US double crochet. So I'm just going to pull this slightly closed so it's not such a huge ring. I'm going to zoom in a smidge for you. And now in this ring, we're going to want 12 UK treble crochet or US double crochets. So the 2 chain that I've just done counts as my first one. And now, so I need to do 11 more. And I'll show you very slowly the first couple in case you're a beginner. So let's yarn over into the center loop, yarn over and pull through. So we have 3 on our hook. So yarn over and pull through 2 of them, yarn over and pull through the other 2. And that's how we do a treble crochet in the UK or a double crochet in the US. So I'll show you again. Yarn over into the loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and get your hook in, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're just going to keep going until I've got 11 of those and the 2 chain, which will count as 12. And I'm leaning on the yarn, which is not making it easy to flow. So there we are. That's how we do that. I'm going to pause the video because I'm going to need to count and I don't want to put anybody off. So once I've got my 12 stitches, that's including those chain, I will come back to you. Okay, so I'm almost done. I have one more to do in that centre. and I've got 12 stitches including the 2 chain. So all I need to do now is slip stitch into the second one. There's the first and there's the second one. So if I'm going to try and go into those 2 loops, that's one. It's not that easy sometimes. Sometimes it just goes straight in, and do a slip stitch. And what I'm going to do is just end off that colour. So I'm going to get my scissors and snip off that yarn, and I'm going to end off. So to do that, I make 1 chain, pull it down so that it's tight, and then just pull it through so it's nice and cinched down. So now if you get hold of this yarn that's in the centre here, you can just pull it tight. Now as you're working, that will work its way loose again. It doesn't matter, as long as it doesn't pull out, you can pull it tight again, and it won't stay absolutely closed until you get a darning needle and you sew this in. And you need to do it really securely, because otherwise it will just work its way out, and you don't want that. So I'm not going to snip this one off, obviously, because it needs to be sewn in. So I'm going to get my next colour, which is this colour. So I'm just going to pause the video a moment while I clear away the other yarn. Okay, so now we're going to make this row, which makes kind of like the spokes of a wheel, so, or like the sticks of the sun that you might draw when you're a young child. So I'm going to just join this in any stitch, and I'm going to not join it here because I don't want to work over 2 tails at the same time if I don't have to. So for this particular row, I'm going to just join it by bringing a loop through and making my first chain with both my tail and my working yarn, and then just dropping the tail, and then doing another chain, so I have 2. So that would be the height of my stitch, but I want a gap between our stitches. You see, I want this gap here, so I'm going to do another chain, and then in the next stitch, and I'm going to work over this tail as I go, I'm going to go into the next one and do my treble crochet and 1 chain, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch and again work over the tail, do my treble crochet and 1 chain, and I'm going to do that in every stitch around. So I will have in this particular round here we had our 12, and we're still going to have 12 but with a gap in between each one. So in a way we have 24 stitches but 12 posts. So I'm going to pause the video and I will meet you back when we get to here. Now the only thing you do need to be careful of is when you get to this part. So once you've gone into this one here, you need to then make sure you're going to go into the right one. I just count them so that you'd know how many you've got and how many stitches you've got left, so you go into the right part, because where we've joined with a slip stitch it can look a little different, but I know from my experience I need to go into this one and then this one. But just make sure when you're there, so that you keep your stitch count right, you'll have at the end 12 posts and 12 you'll just end with a chain. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll pick back up with you when I get to here. Okay, so I'm almost all the way around. I've got to do my last one and then end on my 1 chain, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the second chain of my starting. So there's the first one and there's the second one. Just go into there and just do a slip stitch to end that round, and there we are. So snip that off and just end off normal way. Do 1, cinch it down, there we are. So that's that round, and now we're going to make this row of little clusters, and these are treble 5 together, or double 5 together. Getting mixed up with my terminologies. So we're going to treble 5 together or double 5 together. Now I've just noticed really in this light how dark this mauve section is. So I'm going to have a look in a second for another colour that might show up better on the tutorial, because this purple is quite dark and sometimes that's hard to see. So I might use, I've got a green here, I might use that instead, or if I can find another colour that might look nice, I'll find that. So now I need to sort of connect up my pink. Just moving this yellow out of the way and bringing in the pink. And we're going to attach it to any of our chain spaces. And once again, I'm going to do it the opposite side so that I don't work over two tails at the same time. Now, because this is really bulky, this next section, I'm going to just join it with a simple little knot like that. Because I don't want to have two loops on my hook for one stitch like I would if I did it the other way, where I work over the tail and the other. So I'm just going to insert my hook, grab that yarn and pull it through and do a chain, and that's how they're now joined. So I'll show you slowly how we treble 5 together or double 5 together. So we yarn over, and I'm going to work over this tail, so just holding it there. I'm going to go into my gap, yarn over and pull up, so I've got 3 on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's one of them. So I'm going to yarn over and go back in, yarn over and pull up a loop, excuse me, yarn over and pull through 2. That's 2, yarn over, back in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 3, yarn over, back in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 4. I'm going to do one more. If you want to pull it over a little bit, that's fine. So this is my 5th one. So go through 2. If I can get through the 2. Lots of loops on my hook. So there we are. I've gone through all of them, and so I have 6 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through all of them, and then do 2 chain. The first chain secures those together, and the second chain will give us a gap. So I'll do that with you again a little slowly. Yarn over into the loop, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, back in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, in again, yarn over and pull up and pull through 2. Last one, and then we yarn over and pull through all of them. 2 chain. So that's how we make our clusters, and we're going to do that in each one of these spaces all the way around. And I'll do one more with you, but I won't speak so that you can see what I'm doing. That's it, and I pull through all of them, 1 chain to secure it and 1 for the gap. And that's, it does seem like it's pulling up, but don't worry about that. Now we're going to do that in every stitch around, and so I'm going to pause the video and I'll catch up with you when I'm back here at this one and I'm back at the start. Okay, so I've made it back to move my drink out of the way. Made it back all the way. So I've just finished my last cluster, do my 2 chain, and don't worry if it pulls up. As I say, it seems to sort of go a bit like a little basket. It doesn't matter, you need to pull it out in a second. But I just want to show you, if you can sort of see this, I'll just zoom in, if I can get hold of my zoom. Here you've got this elongated kind of V. And that's where we're going to slip stitch into. just slip stitch into there like that. We've joined, and I'm going to end off the pink yarn in the same way as I have all the others. Just pull it out and cinch it down. Now I'm just going to pull it round. I'll zoom out a little bit because I'm kind of zoomed in. Just going to pull it round so that it is a little flatter. And there we have it. That's our centerpiece. So I'm just going to, I've been working over these yarns, and normally I would secure them a lot better, but I'm just going to get rid of them because they get in the way. That's it. So I can't obviously that one because we need to secure it, and we'll work over that one in a moment. So now I'm going to do this row here. These are 2 rows. There's this little row here and then another row there. So what I might do is just do these 2 rows in a separate colour, just so that you can see. And if I get my green, we'll do that row in the green. It'll make it easier to see. Don't have to do these colours, obviously. You can do whichever colour scheme you like. I can find the end. There we are. Found it. So this round we are just going to join in any gap. I'm going to join it the same way as before, just by tying a little knot. It doesn't really matter too much for this one, but they are just small stitches, so I don't really want it to be bulky when I join. You can join that way all the time if you want. Any way that you join normally is fine. So I'm going to put in my hook, pull up some yarn and do 1 chain. I'm going to pull it over slightly. Now in each of these gaps I'm going to do 3 double crochet in the UK terms, which is a single crochet in the US. So just going in, pulling up a loop and pulling through both. So going in, pull up a loop, go through both. So I'm just going to go straight over to the next one, because although it's a big cluster, it actually isn't that far away the top of the stitch, so you don't need any chain in between. So we're just going to do another 3 in that gap. It's going to be a pretty odd colour scheme, but at least it's easier for you to see than the dark yarn. And into the next one. We're just going to repeat that all the way around, and don't worry, as I said before, if it starts to pull a little bit tighter, it doesn't matter too much at this stage. It does even out. So I'm going to pause the video, and when I get to this side here, I'm going to work over the yarn. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll catch up with you when I get to my last 3 in here. So I've made it all the way around, and now I'm just going to slip stitch into my first stitch there and end off that colour. You can do this next round in the same colour. I'm just doing it differently for the tutorial so that you can see it easily. And then again, just pull it around a little bit, make it a circle. So at this point, if I wanted to make coasters, I would perhaps do 4 of the stitches in between each one, edge it off with a nice colour. You can do a little pretty edge if you want, but that would make a nice coaster. But I'm not going to do a coaster. So now I'm going to carry on, and I just need to pause the video slightly while I get some more yarn and roll up the ones that I've been using. Hi everyone, so I found a nice light coloured purple in my little yarn bag. So I'm just going to use that one. Just got to snip off the end because I had a little knot in it. Pull out some yarn. Right, so I'm going to join into one of these 3 double crochets, which is a single crochet in the US. So I'm going to join in this one here, because how I'm going to do this, I'll show you. I won't really show you on that one so easily, but So this is the third, the second and the first. I'm going to join it into my first one, and for this one we can go round 2, because you can join it any way you want, but I know that I'm doing a treble crochet, so that's going to be fine. It will just hide in there nicely. So I'm going to do another chain, so that's my second chain, to get up to the right height. And in the next stitch, this is our corner. We're going to create a corner by yarn over and do our treble crochet UK terms. We're going to do 2 of them in that same stitch, and then 1 chain, and then 2 more in that same stitch, and we've made a corner. Then we're going to do 1 treble crochet in the next stitch. If you just bear with me a second, I need to wipe off my hook because it's squeaking, and I can't bear that when it squeaks. Just needs a little wipe. Okay, so now we're going to make our side, and so the next 3 stitches are going to be our side, and how we do that is by a half treble, which is a half double in the US. So we yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3, and we're going to do that in the next 3 stitches. So that one is the second one, and that one is the third one, and we've now made our side. We're now going back to our corner, so these 3 are our corner, and we're going to do that with 1 treble crochet in the first. Now we're in the center, so it's our 2, followed by 1 chain, and then 2, and then 1 treble on its own in the next stitch. So our corners are all treble crochet, and they are 1 on its own, our corner cluster, and 1 on its own, and then the 3 along the side are 3 half trebles or half doubles. So that's just going through all 3 loops, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So now we're back at the corner one, creating a corner. So the first one is on its own, and then we have 2, 1 chain, 2 in the same stitch, then again the 1 on its own in our last one of that 3, and then 3 half trebles in the next stitch. We're just going to carry on doing that. I'll just show you how that's creating the sides and our corners, and they are nice and straight, they don't dip in, which is a good thing. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm just going to repeat that. Make in the 1 set of 3, make a corner, and then the next set of 3 are our 3 half trebles, and I'm going to repeat that, and I shall meet up with you when we get next back to this one. So just carry on like I have before. So in this next 3 I'm making the half trebles, and then in this 3 I'm making the corner, and so on. Okay, so I'm all the way around. I'm just going to do my slip stitch into my first stitch like that, and cut off my yarn and make my last little stitch to cinch it down. And there we are, we've got this round completed. So what we need to do now is this last round, and all that is a white row of single crochets in the US or double crochet in the UK. Of course you can do whichever you want. If you wanted to do a row of treble crochets or double crochet US, you want to do half trebles, anything that you wanted to do in there is fine, but I like the look of it with the row of UK doubles, which is a US single crochet. So I'm just going to pull out some yarn, and I joined mine at the corner because it's easier really. So I'm just going to join it in that gap and just pull it through. Don't need that much, do we? And do a little knot because I don't really want it bulky because they're small stitches. So I'm just going to insert, pull it through, do a chain, and in my corner I'm just going to do 3. That's 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to work over my tail and I'm going to pull it aside because I need to get into this first one and just do 1 double crochet UK terms or single crochet US in every stitch all the way around, just going over that tail, and when we get to the next one we can go over that tail as well, just the same, and it finishes it off nicely. So we just do that all the way around, 1 stitch in each. That's my yarn split there. The perfectionist in me doesn't like it. So once you get to the corner, and every one of these corner segments, you just do 3 into that center, 1 in each one along, and that's all we have to do now. So I'm going to pause the video and I will meet up with you when we get back to the beginning. Just go around each one just like this. Now I'm at the corner, do my 3 in the corner, and then you might need again to pull it aside if you can't see. No, that one's fine. You see that little stitch there? Otherwise we will find it will pull a little bit. We want to be able to pull it out nicely. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to pause the video and I will catch up with you again when we get back to the start. Okay, so I've got one more to do. And then all I have to do now is slip stitch into my first stitch and end off the white, or whatever colour you've decided to edge it with. I pull it through and that's done. So all you have to do now is kind of pull it into shape a little bit, where it's actually keeps its shape quite nicely, but just to make it nice and straight. You could of course block it if you wish. Just going to get rid of all of these little edges apart from that center one, which I've worked over. And there we go. So that's it basically. That's my little Sunshine Hexagon. Hope you like that. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos. I think I prefer it with the darker colours, but it was easier to show you with the lighter ones. So thanks for watching everyone. Till next time, bye bye for now.